Dzień dobry, nazywam się Błażej Hrabkowicz, to jest 28. edycja festiwalu EnergaCAMERIMAGE w Toruniu i online. Hello, my name is Błażej Hrabkowicz. This is the 28th edition of EnergaCAMERIMAGE Festival in Toruń and online. Our guest, naszym gościem jest operatorka, our guest is cinematographer from the Student Etudes Competition, A Rodeo Film, Erin G. Wesley. Hello, Erin.
Hello. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're glad to have you, at least in this form, of course. We hope we'll see you in the future in Toruń when we can do it. So we're going to talk, of course, about a rodeo film in the Student Etudes Competition. You shot this film, you're a cinematographer. When I was watching this film, what struck me in terms of its visual style is that it has a very specific use of light and shadow. And I'm interested in what kind of look for the film did you envision with the director?
I mean, for the most part, I think our lighting was motivated by like each environment we were in: the stadium, the country western hip hop bar, the desert landscapes, and Avril's home. And our intention with the lighting was also to speak to our main character's state of mind, allowing more shadows, thus reserving access to him. And that sort of spoke to the fact that he lacked a true sense of self. So I think that identity was always the motivation, aside from environmental, for our lighting.
Yeah, because this is a film about someone who is seeking identity, isn't it? He thought that he had an identity, but then it seems that he's just on the road, maybe, to find one.
Exactly.
Yeah, so this is a film about that, but I also wanted to ask you about challenges of working on a short film, because I wonder if cinematography in like an ability to tell stories in a very condensed and poignant and very quick even images, even more important when working on a short film.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, I think for us, the intention was to always keep the story and the character arcs at the forefront of each visual decision. Mm-hmm. But in regard, I think our most pressing challenges in regard to lighting, with intent, we had a stadium that we were shooting at, and while also embracing what was already happening there, we had to be aware of the event that was going on. There was a rodeo event happening simultaneously, so with some of the shots we were limited in terms of where we could place units, and we couldn't quite speak to the emotionality the way that we intended. But on the bright side, because there was a full event going on as we were shooting, our production value rise quite a bit because we were able to take advantage of the riders, the horses, the trailers that were around. So it all kind of worked together serendipitously. Limitations breed creativity. We were it's a student film, so we're working on a very small budget. And just all of that played a role in the final project that you see.
Yeah. You mentioned production value, and this is also something I wanted to ask you, because this is obviously an intimate drama film, but it seems quite big in its visual scope. And I was wondering, well, was that an idea? But maybe it was just the fact that you had this, rodeo and this space of events happening that you could draw from.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of wanted to implement like your standard Western tropes of like huge landscapes, and but in addition to that, the bulk of our story revolved around this identity quest and the 30,000-foot views that Avril is searching for himself. So we use those vast landscapes and tools such as like negative space to help elevate the idea that he's on a journey to finding out who he was. So in moments where we were closer up, we were getting more inside of his head versus like moments where he's in the very tiny corner of the frame. You can see he's like contemplating, and that space around him represents like his lack of identity in that moment.
Yeah. But so why did you decide with the director, why did you think that this sort of a Western iconography would be good for the story? Because of the rodeo, it seemed like a good fit?
Yeah, because we have this world of rodeo at our disposal, and it seemed ideal to use like moments. I think there are moments where we got the traditional like cowboy shots, looking at the from the waist, looking at the other subject. So yeah.
Yeah. Also, this is there are aside of this intimate moment in the film, you have this. You mentioned the events, the rodeo, and so on. Did you approach filming these very different scenes with different tools, for example, with different lenses, with different camera style, camera work? What was your approach here and the directors?
Well, I know you mentioned like working with the actor. Did you mention working with the actors in that?
I didn't, but you did now.
Oh. Well, yeah, we did select lenses and our exposure values like based on emotionality mostly, but sorry about that.
Someone is trying to, I think, express their opinion about your film. Hello, sir. What did you think about the film?
I'm on set, so there are some uncontrolled videos around here.
Yeah, don't worry.
But yeah, we worked with some really amazing talent, and I think their performances helped elevate like what we did on the cinematography front. But there were some tools that Darius and I used to help push their emotionality even further, focusing on things like short sighting and using negative space, as I mentioned previously, capturing like disembodied parts of Avril at some moments to just really hone in on that identity crisis at the heart of our story.
Yeah. So basically what you're saying is that your cinematography on this film was all about enhancing emotions and helping actors' performances, helping to bring out from this performance what is essential to the film.
Yeah, but honestly, like the actors probably helped me more than I helped them. They were so talented. Appreciated working with them so much.
Yeah. Was this one more question for you? What is this theme of identity crisis? When you just read the script, when the director approached you, or however that happened, was that something that appealed also to you personally? That you thought, oh, this will be interesting challenge, in terms of aesthetics and work, but also on a personal level?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I find myself interested in telling stories that revolve around identity and the complexities of identity and love. And there was a bit of that that the film included a little of both of those themes. Yeah, I felt a connection with learning about like why there was such a pressure to like keep his family legacy alive. And yeah, I can totally relate in several ways in terms of like not being certain about your life's path. Yeah, for a large portion of my life, cinematography was like not even on my radar. And I literally was going to school to be a surgeon, like a doctor. So yeah, I can relate. And I think those choices were made initially because of like my family, just not that my family pressured me into wanting to become a doctor or anything, but I just knew by society standards that that would be a solid career path, and that would be a lot of money. And turns out my parents are the most supportive of me being an artist, and and
That's
here we
great.
are. Yeah.
So, Erin, we're going to let you go. I know you're on the set. You told us you have work to do, but thank you for finding time to talk for finding time to talk to us.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, stay healthy, stay safe, and good luck with your projects.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.